Well, over the weekend, Air Canada pilots in the airline managed to hash out an agreement that will not disrupt travelers after all. However, the entire situation and scenario really work as a good reminder to have the proper travel insurance before you maybe take off. Joining us now live this morning for a look at this is Daniel Ivans from rates.ca, who's an insurance expert, licensed insurance broker. Daniel, appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure your phone was ringing off the hook before this past weekend with all the Air Canada situation. But what do you tell people, Daniel, if I was to book a flight today or a trip today, which of course can be more than just a flight, what's the best advice when it comes to figuring out insurance, especially if you can see like a labor disruption or something coming down the pipe?
Certainly, and you might not even want to wait for a labor disruption. A crisis was clearly averted. Again, to your point, phones have been ringing off the hooks as a result of the potentially looming strike. It looks like a lot of lessons were learned. And so for Canadians, I think what there's an understanding here, at least even more now, is the fact that sudden and unexpected losses can be very impactful, not only financially, but obviously emotionally as well. And having insurance, in particular travel insurance, is a way to avoid the challenges associated with these sudden and unexpected losses.
Daniel, when is it too late to buy insurance? If you sort of suddenly hear, oh my gosh, there's a labor situation, you didn't buy it at the time, can you buy it then, or can you even buy it when you're away?
It depends on the situation, naturally. If something is anticipated to happen, then there's a chance that potentially, you might not be able to get coverage. So in all cases, when traveling, immediately once you realize that you're traveling, you'll want to reach out and look for travel insurance, which is pretty affordable compared to the overall cost of losing a trip, between 4 and 10% of the cost of the trip itself. So to avoid even if you don't see something coming down the pipeline, it's the first thing you want to think about as soon as you start traveling.
Mm-hmm. And what about, there's sort of, you think of trip cancellation and you think of trip interruption. What are the differences there? And there's must be important distinctions there.
Well, there's trip cancellation, which is to say, for example, in a situation like this, the trip itself is canceled as a result of maybe an airline strike. We also have potential, for example, for weather phenomena with the challenges posed by climate change. Your trip could be canceled or otherwise interrupted by potential tsunamis or other types of storms, earthquakes. And so as a result of those potential cancellations and potential interruptions, you want to have insurance. But in addition to that, there's also the health component of travel insurance, which is to say that OHIP may not cover very much when you're traveling overseas. There are examples in the past of consumers having to pay upwards of $1 million in medical bills as a result of occurrences that happen in the United States, for example. And as a result of that, not only because of trip interruption and cancellation, but also because of health, getting travel insurance is an absolute must.
Daniel, you've clearly been doing this for a few years. How closely do you think most of your clients really read the sort of fine print and details on this insurance? And most people just sort of say yes or no, and they'll kind of roll the dice.
Hard to say. It would be speculation. I would say for sure that it's not unanimous, and there are a lot of instances where consumers may miss in the fine print or otherwise may miss in the main print how travel insurance works, what the are. And this is why consumers will always want to be speaking with either or consulting with an agent or a broker to make sure that they're getting the right advice and to make sure that they have the coverage that they actually need. This includes for consultation on any travel plans, but also pre-existing conditions, for example. These are things that you'll always want to be speaking with a professional about so that when you do come to a scenario where you actually need to use your insurance, it's there for you in those emotionally challenging times.
Yeah, challenging indeed. Okay, Daniel Ivans, appreciate this. Rates.ca insurance expert and licensed broker. These are some really important tips for people planning travel. Take care. Thank you.